Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
Would do such a thing. Oh man, we are back. There we go. We fixed it. Sorry. Greetings and salutations. Another episode of Fangs up here. We'll fix that first couple minutes, man. I forgot I muted it because I was setting up, making sure stuff was straightened. I didn't want you to hear me say something if I stubbed my toe. But you also didn't get to hear me smacking on these sunflower seeds because they smack. But big shout out HBC Digital Network. This is home. Shout out Herb Stewart and the Black Techies. And man, as I was stating, sorry about that. You missed it. You didn't hear me say it. But I got the chance to go to University of Central Florida. We're going to drop some of those pictures. I didn't do a lot of video at the event. It was a high school camp. They had about 300 athletes there. And one of the things, just for that day, those students paid $45 to be at that event. I looked at it. That one day they made about $13,500 before you look at cost and everything like that on one day. And that wasn't the big day. We have a few more days like that. You can start to see it's something that we should continue at FAMU. FAMU does have a camp on Saturday. Florida State has one on Friday. So we'll be there. So for those who don't want to hear about me talk about FAMU, FSU, or FSU, tough tacos, because they're recruiting our players. We just saw where UCF was recruiting one of our student athletes and decided to come back to FAMU. You got to know what the other teams have. So I'm just going to be, I'm not going to tell you to do the unfollow thing, whatever. I'm not Scotty to say that. But what I will say is this. I will continue to visit other schools' facilities just because, one, it's enriching and you get to learn. But two, especially when it comes to that account and that case, I've met with the coach from Newberry. We offered some of those student athletes. So some of those students that were there are students who hold offers from Florida A&M University. So, I love when our minister says some of us are so heaven bound that we're no earthly good, and some of us are such HBCU stands that we serve no good when we come to talking about facilities and other things like that. We just talk about what we is and ain't got, and opposed to looking over there and be like, oh, they do have this. but maybe it's not as nice as I thought it was. They have indoor practice facility. I'll be honest with you, it's a barn over a turf field. I mean, it's got air conditioning. It was hot. Like they just had the doors open and they were selling water and all kind of stuff, drinks. I had my bag, so my bag's on the other side of the room there. But just wanted to let y'all know, hey, I will be at the recruiting events. I'm gonna send some to HBCU Digital Network, and we are updating the website. But I will definitely be at other schools, and definitely gonna talk about their facilities because if we want to win, I like what AD Sykes pointed out. You like that feeling of winning? It costs a little bit, and we can see the difference. The locker room, all that stuff, and in lifting them up, I never talked bad about FAM. I didn't. So you can go back check that. But just want to let y'all know, I'm gonna continue to go over there and cross the way. I went to USF. Yeah, we're gonna be over there taking pictures, talk about their stuff because sometimes our stuff look better than theirs. Like, I ain't gonna lie, our basketball arena, I'll take Lawson over USF any day. It's just me. But it was what it was. All right, so today's this ain't a battle. That's what this is. And if you're a FAMU fan, to be honest, this ain't a battle. The quarterback battle, you have your presumptive starter, your quarterback, my quarterback, Jeremy Musa. All right. Musa's going to probably be the starter, but he has several backups. And FAMU's deep at quarterback this year. And I just wanted to make sure we kind of like look at each one of these positions. So we're going to break down the quarterbacks, running backs, receivers. We're going to go through the line, linebackers, secondary, and we're going to loop the kickers in with somebody. I mean, just because we got a whole new kicking room. So I'm really uninformed as to what we got. I do know we already have a All-American in Willoit as transferred and hadn't played a second in the SWAC, and he's already All-American. But our presumptive starter is Jeremy Musa. Musa is all SWAC, played 11 games last year. Now he has negative rushing stats, and I think like negative 55. Now his passing yards, he had over 2,000 yards, 2,732, according to the FAMU website. 21 touchdowns, 10 picks, and his QBR was 128.12. That's for y'all people who want the advanced analytics, all that good stuff. Now, first thing I'm gonna say to y'all, and I get tired of y'all saying this, Moose is a statue. The devil's a liar. He's not. It's a false narrative. And I'm gonna let you wear it. I'm gonna let you, if you want to sit up there and say that Musa is immobile, I'm not gonna argue with you. You won that. You got that. But I got data. And one thing, I graduated with a degree in history from Florida A&M University. History is an evidentiary-based science. So how do I prove it to you? Video. That don't look like a statue to me. It doesn't. That was from the FAMU spring game. And you had other games throughout the season where Musa ran in the end zone. Now I'll be honest with y'all, and I had to go back through my my archives, my personal archives. I try not to use other people's photos and videos too often. A lot of those home games, I was in the press box working after pretty much homecoming, like UAPB. I was in the box working. But the games I was on the field for, hey, I had you. And that was from the spring game. Musa doesn't look immobile to me. As I stated during the season, he's not immobile. He's picky, and he's selective about when he's running. And part of it, partially, but then part of it kind of changed in the midst of me saying it. It's because we had a lot of depth at quarterback last year. I mean, you start to kind of look and just kind of go back and look at the moments when Musa came out of the game. Yeah, it was a difference. It was a definite difference as quarterback. You have one quarterback who does transfers to Norfolk State. That's cool, understandable. But other than that, behind Musa, it don't get great. I'll say it like that. It don't get great. And I do got a little video of Musa, but it was kind of long, so I didn't put it in there. But I'll send it up. I'll send it over so the mothership they can have it. But Musa's like fairly excited about the season. And you just go back and listen, go back and check that out. And we talked to him after the Orange and Green game, and he's confident. One of the things he's picked up the offense. It's a lot faster. You can tell last year he was thinking, but he had talent. He's got the prototypical quarterback size, talent, arm strength, throwing motion. He's smooth. Like you can tell the difference. Like if you play football, it's just like people play basketball. You can tell the difference. Like I can tell when somebody's kind of a hooper, but I can tell when it's a football player playing basketball too. In this case, Moose's the quarterback. And you can tell there's a definite difference. And in stating that though, the number two, he was cold. Number two, in my opinion, is Junior Murtovich. I've been a junior stan. I was on a junior train last year. I ain't gonna lie. He just got DNPs for the whole season. So Junior did not play last year. He's coming in as a redshirt sophomore. Now his pregame workouts though, he looked solid. And I'll be honest with y'all, from the Orange and Green game, he looked improved. One of the things I noticed, he did a much better job of going through progressions compared to last year and his first year especially. I mean, he got thrown in the fire against Jackson State at the end of that game and almost brought us back. Like for all the people like, oh, Fabe, you didn't score a touchdown. Ha ha ha. You beat us by 1 point. Like, yay, you scored 1 touchdown. You beat us 7-6. You won. You got that. But it ain't like you scored 50 points that day. Now the next year, look, I ain't got nothing on that. You blew us out. But you ain't scored 50 points in them 2 years each. Like 1 year you scored 7 and you won by 1. Next year was a blowout. You got that. Okay, FAMU ain't scored a touchdown in 2 years. You barely scored that 1 touchdown you did get. Like it is what it is, man. Like you won. But the person that came in that win, the first one, was Junior. And you could tell if Junior had a better grasp of the offense, you might have got a little farther. I mean, you might have got a little closer for that kick we did miss. But I digress. That's 2 years old and it's gone. Can't do anything about that. But I'm going to say Junior's probably a QB2. Again, I remember looking at him pregame, especially during the season, like, Junior looks sharp. He looks pretty good. Fluid motion. Again, looks like he's going through his progressions really well, especially compared to the first year. And honestly, last year's Orange and Green game, there's a difference. There was an absolute difference between Musa and everybody else. This year, there was a difference. But the big thing was Musa was kind of a coach. I mean, I remember asking him about it. He's like, yeah, kind of got to get out there and coach a little bit. And that was huge. Like, that was something that I think is going to help us going forward. Now, behind him, it's a wash. Now, I think Ja'Cory Favorite is the incumbent that I would be looking at, Ja'Cory Jordan. But he got limited playing time. He only had 2 passes, 6'4", 195. And then the other guy is Trey Fisher, which I'll be honest with y'all, he's not tall. 5'11", 180. Again, he didn't get limited playing. He didn't get a lot of playing time at UT Martin. He's UT Martin transfer. And then there's an elephant in the room, which I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to him because I'm sure Trey wants to be his own man. And so in order to do that, we'll treat him like he's his own man. But Trey, you can tell when you're watching him, he's definitely a quarterback that he's got that. He's got that additional niche. He's got that ability to read coverages. He knows where the ball should go. Can his arm always get it there? Maybe. But at the same point, he's got some chops. Like, FAMU's going to be pretty solid at quarterback. And that's just something that I think I'm confident in. I will say this. and this I haven't talked to our offensive coordinator about this. I would be very surprised if you don't see some maybe run packages or sub packages where you maybe swap out some of these quarterbacks because you also got DJ Bodie, redshirt freshman, Eastern Kentucky, did not play last year. 6'2", 210. They list him as coming from Evans, but he also played at IMG. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if you'd maybe see a little more mobility, maybe a little more versatility from our quarterbacks this year. But especially when you're considering that Musa is the guy. Like, you're going to protect him. There's not going to be a lot of, I would speculate, unless it's just wide open, he's not going to run. And that's not something that he showed last year. It wasn't something that he couldn't do. It was something that I would say was a calculated risk to not do. Because the narrative is that he's a statue and that the other quarterbacks we have, none of them are immobile. Like that's look at any of FAMU's quarterbacks, even going back to Junior. Junior's not immobile. Junior is a mobile quarterback. He's fast enough to get the job done. I mean, he really is. Now with Jacory, sorry about that, Jacory. Another guy. Can he his mechanics? Like that's going to be the thing. So each quarterback's got their own thing. Like when it comes to Musa, and I'll break that down. What each quarterback's kind of thing is if you're watching. With Musa, it is he mobile? Is he mobile? And then is he going to be consistent? And then what is it going to be like without Xavier? Now, I'm just going to tell y'all, man ago, he was looking like that. Like solid target. You're getting additional receivers back. And FAMU's got a real chance to be able to put on a decent show from receiver because you have receivers that range from 6'3" to about 5'6". And a lot of those receivers are coming back from last year. It's not like you got this huge influx of freshman receivers. A lot of receivers you had last year, quite a few were transfers. And this is their second year in the offense. You also have running backs that can catch the ball pretty well too. Now we're gonna talk about the running backs, and we'll talk about them on Sunday. But you just got to kind of look at that, like, okay, that's gonna be the question with Junior. I'm looking at Junior Musa is accuracy. What happens with the new receivers, and about him being immobile. Which to me, if you want to argue that he's a statue, that's cool. Game plan for him being a statue. Play 50 yards off. Give him open running lanes. But then when he goes and runs the ball, don't sit there like, oh, we didn't know he could do that. No, I'm telling you, it's there. He's just selective. He knows if he gets hurt, there's a drop off. Now with Junior, it's experience. That's the biggest killer for him. He misses the entirety of last year. And you got a lot. I mean, him and McKay had a little bit of a quarterback battle. He does start against Fort Valley State, but he didn't look impressive. If we're just gonna be honest, that year it wasn't a great showing, and to the point that where Rashawn McKay has to come back and save the season. Like we thought, like, oh well, won't know about Rashawn, and it was more like, no, I don't not know about Rashawn. I know what I'm getting in Rashawn McKay. I'm getting consistency. He's gonna be consistent. He was safe with the ball. He may go through his read a little slower, but he's gonna try to make sure he makes the right read. With Junior, it was like he's still learning the offense. You could tell. And I don't think we were at a position where offensively we were ready to slow it down. Like the train had to keep rolling, and Fort Valley came on at a good time, and it was like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna work. He's not ready yet. I think he's much more prepared now, especially he has that year of sitting. He has a year where he's sitting behind a Musa, which you can tell Musa knows the X's and O's, and he definitely knows the progressions. And pre-game, as I told y'all, it was nothing to see Musa and Meritovich out there doing the routes. And I'm pretty sure I can't remember a game where Junior wasn't out there pregame, throwing the ball around, shorts, shirt, hair in the bun, slinging it. I think that's just something that we're going to be able to ask that question. How much has he progressed? How has he improved in the film room? Because if I'm being honest, everybody after Junior is brought in for next year. It's not a who's pushing Musa. That's not there. It's that's not even an argument. That's not a conversation. Unless Musa just flies off the side of a mountain and just starts throwing picks galore. Sorry, I had to knock on wood. That does not happen. But it's really all other quarterbacks are brought for next year. But that's going to be the question because Junior's mobile. Like Junior's pretty mobile. Go back and look at that Jackson State game from a couple years ago, and it was raining. And look, Junior's running for his life a couple times, but he didn't look bad. Like some would argue he probably should have come to the game a little earlier. But at the same point, he didn't look bad. He was pretty solid. Now with Ja'Cory Jordan, it's accuracy. That's going to be my question. Accuracy, footwork, follow through, because some of his balls just, they kind of sail. And that was a question. Like, and that's not, I'm not speaking ill of anybody, y'all. I'm not trying to say this kid can or cannot do that. What I'm saying is it's a question. It's what I'm looking for. And just in watching their games, because I'm at almost every home game. It's been at the spring games, classics. I'm there. Like I've seen enough of these games to where I can ask questions. I'm not an uninformed fan. Like I'm well enough informed to be able to look and notice. That's gonna be the question though, because his size, man, it jumps out. Oh, when you see him, that's like the second or third dude I want to see off the bus with a quarterback doing that little quarterback spin thing. You know how they be spinning the ball in their hands and it just spins. I want to see that. I want to see that. Him step back and just put that thing on it and just throw the ball 60 yards down the field. I want to see Ja'Cory doing that. But the question is he going to be accurate? And then how well does he know the offense? Again, he's a redshirt sophomore. 2 for 2 when he played. Yeah, I got questions. How well is he going to know the offense? And it's not a question I would ask our coach, just because I don't know if I'm going to get coach speak or a real answer. And I'm going to want a real answer for that one. Certain coaches I would definitely ask, because I'm not going to be up there and say, Coach, and sorry, Trey, let me use your dad's name here, but Coach Jimbo said that this guy's this and that guy's that. And, Coach Jimbo said this and Coach Jimbo said that. Nah. I would just say, well, I've heard this. Or I may say nothing at all. or just sit on that and be like, all right, good information. But in this case, that's going to be the question for Ja'Cory. Accuracy. Can he get through his progressions quickly? Because, man, during spring game, man, some of those sacks was just holding the ball. Like, DJ had the same problem, but it was different because Ja'Cory's been in the offense longer. So it's like, it's just like anything else. If you've been doing something longer than somebody else, you're expected to do it better. Mistakes are going to happen. Look, y'all saw. Oh, crap. I forgot to turn the mute button off earlier. I don't normally turn the mute button on. But at this point in time, I should know better than to just run with it. I need to triple check. Oh, crap. Okay, I didn't hit it. Same thing. That's one of the things that I think you're going to ask with Ja'Cory. Hey, accuracy. Make sure your footwork is tight. Go through the progression. Have a nice follow through. Have a good platform. Like, how are you positioned? And those are going to be questions for our quarterback coach. We know who the quarterback coach is. I feel some type of way about that anyway. Now, the next one, Trey Fisher. Now, with Fisher, I got 2 questions. And it's not really related to him processing. Like, considering he really didn't know the offense, he actually looked solid. Like if you're gonna sit up here and give him the benefit of the doubt of, I think he had been in the program for maybe a month or two, beginning of the spring, something like that. Considering what he was doing with that offense, solid, like solid. And same thing with DJ. Like, but the question with Trey is going to be height and arm strength. Like, can he consistently get the ball there to where it needs to be? But then are you going to adjust the offense to allow 5'11" quarterback to roll out to the left or the right? Yeah, I know. I'm glad you couldn't see my finger. I went the wrong direction. I don't know what other way, but to be honest with you. But are you going to change that offense enough to allow him to get some open throwing lanes? That's going to be the big question. Because if he doesn't get open throwing lanes, you're going to have balls that get knocked down, they're going to get tipped, and tip balls turn into turnovers. Like, let's just be honest. When a defensive lineman tips the ball, all of a sudden a linebacker, corner, or safety has a chance to get to the ball and create a sudden change experience. And we don't want those. You don't want any type of sudden change scenarios, because when you have free radicals on the field that create unpredictable situations, you all of a sudden create turnovers and mistakes. And that's what we can't have that. Ain't nobody had no time for that. And honestly, Trey was pretty solid with the ball. Like he's just, again, can he learn the offense? I think he's got that. Like I'm just going to give him that. He's got the time. But that thing about that height's a little bit of a question for some, not me. But then he's another one where that arm strength comes in for me. Less of, with Ja'Cory, it's less of arm strength, more with accuracy. With Trey, it's, I've seen you play before. That arm strength is a question because he's pretty accurate. I'm gonna give him that. I saw him at Gabi when they came to Orlando, played at Edgewater High School. I got that video somewhere, picture somewhere, not even really video. But that was before I started doing this. That being stated, that's going to be the question. Can he get the ball there? And are you going to adjust the offense to fit his talent? Because his talent is definitely, he can read defense really well. But can he get the ball there? Now with DJ, I don't know what to tell you. Like, DJ didn't know the offense at the spring game, and you're not even mad at it. Like, he just got there. So he took some sacks because he was really trying not to make mistakes. And I like that. Like, that's a little bit of Rashawn McKay for me. Like, I tell people quick, when it came to last year, I was a Musa man, but it was just off of pure mechanics. It was mechanics and just the look. But when it comes to high risk, high reward, that was Musa. But when it came to, like, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get some consistency. I ain't going to get no bunch of turnovers. It was Rashawn McKay. I think DJ Boney reminds me a lot of a rich man's Rashawn McKay. Like, just kind of considering where McKay came from and how he developed into that quarterback. Like, let's remember, McKay got thrown into the fire early. Back when he had the dreadlocks. I don't remember. Some of y'all ain't real FAMU fans. Y'all don't remember Rashawn McKay with the dreadlocks. Yo, he was coming in there and he was like, he was supposed to be the guy, but he still had to, he was still raw. Whereas, Boney's more polished. And the question with Boney is, how long is it going to take him to learn the offense? Right? And I feel like he's got all season for that. Is he going to be content though? Because all of a sudden, we got a quarterback battle going for next year. And if I'm being honest, I really think the boys from Orlando are the ones you got to watch. Wakaiba versus Evans, next year is Junior versus Boney. That's just, if I'm looking at overall and looking at what FAMU's offense is and knowing kind of what Willie Simmons likes to do, that's the guy y'all sleeping on. Like, Boney took a lot of sacks. A lot of them were coverage sacks in the spring game, but it was because he was really trying not to make a mistake. And you could definitely see some of what he did was from that school of, I'd much rather take a sack over a turnover. Because once you turn the ball over, it's gone. Now, if you take a sack, hey, you lost yards. We might be able to get that back. At worst, you take some sacks, you know, at worst, you just punt the ball and you flip the field. But those are the ones. That's the one. If I'm looking at two to me, two to you, that's the one. Like I tell y'all, I'm a Musa man. Musa's my guy. Look, as far as for me with FAMU quarterback, it's the Eminem boys. My dad would smile because the Eminem boys, Mantle, all that stuff. But it's the Eminem boys for quarterback for me. It's either Musa or Muratovic. That's my QB1 and QB2. But don't be surprised if by season's end it's DJ Boney or Trey Fisher at the 3. And the reason I'm definitely gonna say Boney, 6'2", 210, you can run that. You can run that. It's an option. Like I was trying to find a more elaborate way but you can run the read option with the quarterback, where the quarterback catches the ball and the running back runs, and based on what the defensive end is doing, the quarterback reads the defensive end, maybe the linebacker, and decides whether he keeps the ball or he lets the running back run it. And then from that, you have so many plays that open up because out of that zone read, you freeze the defensive end. Sometimes you freeze the linebackers, and you may get a corner who's looking in the backfield who may try to cheat up. All of a sudden, as quick as the receivers are, you can run that into a play action play. Look, y'all, I'm sorry. I told you I play football. Like, don't do this. But you can all of a sudden run that into a play action play where the receiver is running that Xavier Smith corner route to the flag. And if he's running it in between the corner and the safety, especially in a zone defense, now you're in a position where the quarterback can just flick that thing. And now you've now created 3 different options play-wise from one motion. From one motion, you have a zone read, which is what we would normally say. It's like a zone read. So you have the quarterback who's reading off the end, or you can just have a straight up just sweep, halfback sweep. Halfback takes the ball, quarterback gives it to the halfback and continues to carry the fake out so that he holds the defensive end. But then he may also keep that corner, but then that also creates that play action pass, which gives you all of a sudden you've had 4 or 5 plays that are created from one option because the quarterback is mobile. The quarterback's at good size. And that's one thing, honestly, excuse me, I apologize. All of FAMU's quarterbacks have decent size. The only one that is maybe smaller is Trey Fisher. And I'll be honest, in a goal line area, if Trey could get lost, and I'm not saying like get lost, like bye. I'm saying you could put him kind of in a scrum on the goal line, and he might be able to have him snap the ball, fake like he's going to hand the ball to a halfback, have a fullback, and have him trail the fullback through the goal line. And that all of a sudden creates another goal line option for you. So again, it's a lot of different things that you have with FAMU's list of quarterbacks. And you just have to kind of look and see what each person's expertise is and what their skill set is. And just like all of us, when you have a skill set, you have pluses and minuses. I tell my students all the time, this past year, like Mr. Hadley this and Mr. Hadley that. One of my students in the school year, he's trying to get slick and he does his little move, whatever. I'm like, boy, please, I wasn't even checking you. It's like, first and foremost, I didn't play DV, but secondly, you're slow. And he's like, oh, you never see me run. I was like, no, boy, you're slow. I play football. Like, I'll roast you. And he's like, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. It's like, you would not get off the line. Why? Because I recognize within my skill set, I'm not tall. But what I can do is I can run fast, I can run straight, and coming off the line, I'm going to jam the hell out of you. And so, again, I have my pluses and my minuses. We all have that. When we're looking at players and we're critiquing them, we have to have that understanding. And for me, when I look at FAMU's quarterbacks this year, it's not a competition. Moose is the man. Moose is the guy. But behind Musa, you got some athletes. And Moose is a better athlete than a lot of you are giving him credit for. Now, again, with me, yeah, I already know. Like, go back, Florida Classic. Musa runs that touchdown in. Spring game, Musa runs a touchdown in. Last 2 games this man has played, he's run for a touchdown. And he doesn't look slow. I mean, okay, for those who missed it, I'll play it one more time. And that was how the spring game ended. Like, no, he's not slow. He just doesn't run a lot. And no, he may not have that 4.3 speed, but that's a solid, I almost said solid, Lord have mercy. That's a solid 4.6, 4.7, 4.7. But coming from a quarterback who's traditionally going to stay in the pocket, that's a good thing. Because now that's added versatility that some of y'all are going to sleep on. And we saw what a mobile quarterback does to a defense. If and y'all know I don't do this a lot. I don't talk about that dude. But if we're going to go back, in a great example of a quarterback that learned how to slide is Shador. Look at the FAMU game last year and look at how FAMU came with the game playing that he ain't running. And then all of a sudden, when he did start running, what happened? Your game plan was shot because all of a sudden he was extending plays. Shador runs downfield. He gets 6-7 yards. He slides. And all of a sudden, Shador learned how to slide. But he also extended the plays. He moved the pocket. Yes, we were in the sun side of the stadium. We were belabored with a loss of student athletes and other things like that. Yeah. But X's and O's wise, part of the reason we got blown out like that is because the quarterback could move and he was mobile. And we've seen within this conference, you need a quarterback that, as they say, can spin that thing. But you also need a quarterback that can move a little bit. The greatest quarterbacks in this conference are not statues. Most of them are mobile. Bruce Eugene, big dude, but he could actually move. Tavares Jackson, amazing athlete. Like, just kind of go back through your greatest quarterbacks in SWAC history. They're mobile guys. Steve McNair, mobile. Like, yeah, he could just stand in the pocket and just sling that thing, but he was also mobile. He could move. His first option was not necessarily to run, but look, he wasn't no gangster, but don't push him. Like, he would run. Moose is similar. I'm telling y'all, every FAMU quarterback's got that to him, to where, look, I ain't no runner, though, but don't push me. I will extend this play. And I think that's going to be our greatest thing and our greatest gift for the season. So, but for this episode, we went through all the quarterbacks. We talked about who QB1 is. It's Money Man Musa. The Moose is going to go loose on the season. I'm going to speculate. All right, I'm gonna say this. Let's do a gamely wager. Every game, every position, we'll have a little wager on our top positions. If you disagree, drop it in the likes. Drop it in the comment section there. Say what you feel. I think Musa goes for 3 stacks. I got 3,000 on Musa. 3,000 yards, not dollars. Look, I don't have tickets to Orlando City that I can sell for when Inter Miami comes to town like that. But I will say this. I think Musa had 2,700 last year in an offense that he was new to and he was learning. And by the end of the season, he had his go-to guy. He loses his go-to receiver, but you have tight ends. And when we get to that, when we get to tight ends, and it's gonna be tight ends receivers together. I'm telling you, I'm high on FAMU's tight ends. I've been high on them for 2 seasons. But I think Musa goes for 3,000 yards. I don't know. I'm not going to say he runs for positive yards. Okay, I'll say that. You know what? A bag of sunflower seeds on it. And actually, you know what? Brian Fulford, I got you. I'll get you a Bucky's card if Musa doesn't run for positive yards this season. So, Bryant from the ONG Strike Zone, if FAMU's quarterback Musa has negative yards at the end of the season, I owe you a Bucky's gift card because I was listening. I heard how fond you are of Bucky's, so or some type of gift card to help you get Bucky's. but yeah, so I think Musa runs for positive yards, and I think if healthy, I'll put that caveat out there. I think he goes for over 3,000 yards. So those are my numbers. Drop your ideas in the comments section. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you got. Who do you think should be the best quarterback? If it's not Musa, if you disagree with me, share it. But I'm telling y'all, I'm riding with Money Man Musa. My backup quarterback is going to be Junior Muratovic. And I think third string, starting the season is going to be Ja'Cory Jordan. But I think by season's end, it's going to be DJ Boney. And one of them is going to transfer out next season. Look. I'm giving y'all that. Like, I'm standing on stuff today. Okay. I'm doing a little push-ups. All right, I see you. So I'm going to put that there. So that's my little wager. Y'all put it in there. I will put this in the show notes for a wager. So one more again. Musa, 3,000 yards. And positive rushing yards. Now, I do realize a lot of why Musa had negative rushing yards was due to sacks. But I think Musa has positive rushing yards. So that means even if he has .5 rushing yards, which I know .5 is not a number, I win. So I get nothing if I win, just the pride of being able to say I told you so. But if I lose that one, I do owe my brother Brian something so that he could get some Buckies. But all right, y'all. Be prepared. Like, subscribe. Check us out, HBCU Digital Network. Check out the Black Techies, Herb Seward, whole lot of stuff going on the technology front. And check us out Sunday, 8:30. We'll be back. We're going to record that one, though. So, do a little wardrobe change. But, not going to be live on Sunday just because we got some things going on. But we're going to have your show right now. We're going to talk about the running backs. And the episode is going to be called The Committee. FAMU is going to be having a running back by committee system that we always have. FAMU is at its best running-wise when we have at least 2 running backs, a thunder and lightning guy. Willie Simmons has said that on occasions as well, that, when you got thunder and lightning, you got a good thing at FAMU. 2 thunders don't work. You need that speed back. And we lost some guys from last year, man. We lost my boy from Rickards. I don't know what happened with him, man, but we're missing him this year. But we're going to talk about the running back room, kind of go through and introduce each one of these guys, man. See what we got out there. So, but looking forward to seeing y'all then. And if you haven't already checked it out, check out FangsUpPodcast.com, HBCUDigitalNetwork.com. Check out the Black Techies Podcast.com. And look, just like, subscribe, and all those good things. And as always, it's going to be Fangs Up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know